Thomas,
Hi.
Master Taoist Herbalist.
My field is in Taoist tonic herbs. It's an ancient system. It's actually the very first system of herbology ever in history. From 3000 BC, actually 2975 BC, the first pharmacopoeia of herbology was written in China. And they had sought powerful herbs, probably help them hunt better, to help them procreate better, to help them intuit better how to live out there. And they were living in a very natural, wild setting, and they found out that these plants gave them extra strength to persevere, to intuit what they needed to do as far as hunting and all. And this was probably starting like 10,000 BC in northern China. And out of that, my lineage arose. So in 2975 BC, a pharmacopoeia of herbs was written, the very first one ever. And some of the herbs that you're drinking in this drink are written in that herbal pharmacopoeia. One of the oldest herbs ever documented in time, and now still today, the most renowned and effective herbs in their class that are known. The Chinese have had these great reverence for these herbs all this time, and mountains of research have been done on them now, and only proven what the ancient Chinese said to be true. But how exactly they knew these things, we don't quite know. But I'll give you a little example. Going to Brazilian herbalism for a second here, just to give you an example of how the ancient people may have known this. I heard a story once where some people in America were, from an herb company, they were looking for new herbs to make products out of, herbal products, and they went down to the Amazon and were looking around, and they found a shaman, and they said, "Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Shaman, can you tell us what this herb does?" And the shaman said, "Yes, this one cleanses the blood, or it's good for the heart, or it's, this or that." And then these nutraceutical people took it back to America, put it under a microscope, and looked at it, and they found out that it did exactly what the shaman said. So they went back out of curiosity, and they sat down with the shaman, and they said, "How did you know that these herbs did what they do?" And the shaman said, "Because it told me." So, they intuited deep things that turned out to be true. They were just closer to nature and closer to these things, and maybe it was some sort of form of necessity that they needed this. But anyway, in China, we have the great fortune that these kind of herbs were documented, heavily documented throughout history. And they've come to us now in a more exotic state than even in those days, because we need them more and more now for our adaptability, our immunity, to cleanse our bodies. And I'm going to briefly get to an issue that we know we're facing right now that we need to cleanse to deal with this. And so we've looked into how we can use these herbs in various formulas and reintegrate them into our lives now to bring back the health of the reproductive system, we're talking about the hormones, hormonal health, the immune system, and also the spirit. These herbs are very powerful in the spirit. And so I had the great fortune of having been taught under a master named Ron Teagarden for 8 years. I was his personal apprentice and was called what they call tea master. So I got pretty good at making the teas of the Chinese herbs taste good. As you may find with this, some people still are a little finicky about my teas, but for the most part, people are usually pretty pleased when they drink and go, "Well, yeah, that's all right." This formula contains herbs that are known to not only enhance the libido and the reproductive forces, but to sustain them, to sustain long-term reproductive health. So the idea is we don't want to just go out and use those reproductive energies in a wanton way and sort of usurp them. We always want to recharge that battery so that we can keep having that power. Because do you know that the hormones of the body, the reproductive hormones, regulate the body's aging process? If we fortify the reproductive hormones and keep them strong and balanced, and we use our reproductive forces wisely, our body stays youthful. Because our body says, "Well, hey, I'm a quote, sex machine, so I want to stay attractive to the opposite sex." And antioxidants will kick in everything to keep pigment in the hair and keep the skin having the nice layer of the fat under the surface, and all these things to keep it supple. And this is all really coming down to the reproductive hormones that do this, because the genome wants us to reproduce. That's why we're here. The genome that's designed us and designed everything is really, it's very interested in us, perpetuating our species. And if we're living in a body where the hormones are all balanced and those reproductive forces are fortified, then the genome is going to be happy and say, well, hey, I'm going to stay youthful. And so what we do is we grow into our older years of actually maintaining youthfulness and attractiveness to the opposite sex. In China, some of the people who took or take the herbs I'm going to tell you about, they're in this tea, are among the longest living people known in history, but they also maintain active sexual lives all through their lives. When we get to some of these thresholds in our lives, like andropause and menopause, we can breeze through these things without them even affecting our attractiveness and our sense of feeling of sexuality. If we fortify those, if we use them properly, the way for women to use them is to take these tonic herbs that fortify the adrenals and the kidneys so that stress doesn't affect you. And also, women want to have active sexual, you want to have orgasms. Women want to have orgasms.
Yes, we do.
It's good. Really? It's good.
Every day,
Yes.
twice a day.
As many times a day.
You know why that is? Why it's good for women to have orgasms is because when a woman has an orgasm, you're essentially giving it the endocrine system a little run around the block, or going for yoga, and down here in the reproductive forces. You don't drop an egg when you have an orgasm, you see. Now that's the difference with men. When a guy has an orgasm, he actually releases his semen. That's his seed. That means there's been a net loss there of his life force. He's had to go out and
A lot of babies lost there.
a lot. Yeah, quite. And so the thing that guys want to do is they want to actually be very judicious about the release of their semen. And what I talk about in my book, Healing Thresholds,
So beautiful.
I have a chapter in here in Healing Thresholds about healthy sex. And the Chinese have a great exercise they call exchanging essences. I think this is really good. What you do is the man must give the woman an orgasm. You can do it orally, or if he's really adept, can do it with intercourse. When the woman has her orgasm, she injects very powerful hormones into her vagina that are very healing and nurturing. And the man then enters in, if he's not already there, then he absorbs those essences, and it gives him some of that power back so that he can then have his ejaculation, and he doesn't have such a loss of his power.
Nice.
No, you don't want to do that.
No, hell no.
Now,
Come on now.
he has to,
The way you just
Yeah.
put that together.
yeah.
I've
He
never
has
heard
to,
that
of course, if he doesn't want to impregnate the woman, he has to get out.
Hold back.
But,
Get out?
or
I understand.
the other way to do it,
Can I repeat it?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking out loud.
sorry.
Forgive me.
Janina, I'm going to repeat it.
the other way to do this is takes a little exercise and a little practice, but it's fun and it's very satisfying for both of you. Is for the man to just hold off that when you're on the edge, keep holding off, and you find that each time you come back for longer. You come back longer, and you just keep holding off and take a breath, I mean, I've been thinking like, I'll start doing my taxes for a second. Cool down, dude, and then you can just go until the woman says, okay, I'm satisfied, and then then the next morning you're both excited to get going again. It's amazing. There's no net loss. This is a great secret
There's
of
no
male
net
health.
loss, you said?
Of what we call
There
jing.
is no what?
No net loss of
Net
your jing,
loss.
of your essence of your life,
Wow.
your jing, your youthfulness.
Nice.
This is a great secret of male power. And you know before the ball games, the coach always just says to the team, okay, no sex for 6 months before.
Yeah.
When they win the World Series, right? That's because they're saving that. We call this jing. It's your essence. It's housed in your kidneys. So the Chinese found herbs that go to the kidney and tonify them and build them up and build up this essence and fortify and protect it. There's two types of jing herbs. There's herbs called yang jing herbs, which give you that immediate jump up John, right? And then there's the yin jing herbs that come to replenish afterward for long-term vitality and youthfulness and long life, And so both yang jing and yin jing herbs are in this tea. Because our ideology is we look at these two teardrops in this yin-yang symbol, and one represents the use of energy, and the other represents the reclamation or the accumulation and storage of energy for future use.